All right, Kev, go for it.
Chapter 4, the NFWA. In the early 1960s, migrant workers constantly struggled to find work. Many made only about $1,000 a year, which was impossible to live on. The work they did was often dangerous. Landowners and farm bosses treated them with very little respect as human beings. Cesar wanted to organize farm workers into a union. A group of employees organized
Keep going.
to negotiate
Into what?
negotiate
Negotiate.
to sit down and discuss with employers about the terrible working conditions of the migrants. There were many unions in place back in the 1960s, including those for warehouse workers, teachers, firefighters, miners, truck drivers, and other industries. Caesar felt a farm workers union would be able to negotiate better pay and safer working conditions with the growers. In 1962, after only a few years as director, Cesar resigned from the CSO. He wanted to start a farm workers union on his own terms. Cesar and his family moved back to Delano. Many of Helen and Caesar's relatives still lived there and could help support them. Caesar and Helen had very little money saved, so Helen picked crops in the fields and Caesar took on odd jobs, either in the fields or building houses for his brother Richard, who was a carpenter. Caesar spent most of his time driving from town to town in the valley around Delano. The San Joaquin Valley to talk to migrant workers. He held meetings in their homes and listened to their problems. Caesar planned to build a union one farm worker at a time, but many didn't believe growers would ever listen to their concerns. They were scared to join a union. The farm workers were nervous because their employers had a lot of power and money. When they had stood up to their bosses in the past, they had been being fired, thrown in jail, or deported. So Caesar tried to keep the means secret. He didn't want the growers to punish workers for simply talking about forming a union. Caesar even tried not to call his organization a union. He called it a movement and hoped that it would bring a big change in the way poor, hard-working people were treated. But Caesar couldn't do such a big job on his own. He worked closely with Dolores Herrera, a woman he had met through the ESO.
Dolores Huerta.
While Caesar was quiet and friendly, Dolores, this was more outspoken. They made a good pair. Caesar's cousin Matthew and his brother Richard also helped Caesar to print flyers about the union and pasted them out with the help of their children, nieces and nephews. Through it all, he still got advice from Fred Ross. Caesar surrounded himself with people he trusted and who were willing to give up their time and money. He worked with people who believed that change was needed in America's treatment of farm workers.
Oh, let me read this part? Okay. Here we go. Put it in. Put it in. Dolores Huerta. Dolores Carla Fernandez Huerta was raised in Stockton, California. Even as a young girl, she was interested in the rights of all people to be treated fairly and equally. Follow along with me. Dolores led the Stockton chapter of the Community Service Organization in 1955, and in 1962, she co-founded the National Farm Workers Association with Cesar Chavez. In 2012, Dolores was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama. She continues to speak out for the rights of workers, women, and children. There you go.
They decided to call their union the National Farm Workers Association, NFWA. As members joined, they paid monthly dues that kept the union going. Caesar spent a lot of time in his home office making calls and writing letters. Dolores and Manuel took to the fields to talk to farm workers. Helen Chavez was in charge of keeping track of costs and times uniting so many people seemed like an impossible task. But Caesar had faith that it could happen. The desire to win has got to be very strong. He said, or else you can't do it. After about 6 months, the NFWA had enough members to hold one large meeting. About 150 members and their families met on September 30th, 1962. In the town of Fresno.
Fresno?
Yeah. Together they decided that their first goal would be to try to get the governor of California to set a minimum wage for workers. A minimum wage is a price paid per hour of work that landowners could not go below. And the FWA wanted to have a say in what that wage would be. At the meeting, they unveiled their new flag with the strong symbol of an eagle. Everyone shouted the NFWA motto, Viva la Casa, long live the cause.
Viva la causa, long live the cause.
As the Union grew, Richard fixed up an old church in Delano as the new NFWA office. The Union started a newspaper called El Malcriado. Say El Malcriado.
El Malcriado. Anyway, El Malcriado. Good.
The name meant those who talk back and sometimes refers
What's the word you're writing down?
refers
Okay.
to children with bad manners. The NFWA was ready to talk back to their employers about how unfairly they were treated in the fields. Since many farm workers couldn't see cartoons playing in a big part in communicating NFWA's message, growers were up using
What's the next word you're writing down? What's the second word?
abusing
Abusing. Okay.
the workers, and the union could help them. They sold their paper at various grocery stores for 10 cents. A strike was one of the best tools unions could use against unfair employers. During a strike, workers would refuse to pick crops. They wanted to pressure their bosses into
Negotiating. Good.
with them. They would march with signs called picketing to make their demands known. Caesar had wanted the union to have more members before asking anyone to stop working and launching a major strike. But he couldn't hold off striking much longer. Another union made up mostly of Filipino workers was planning a strike against grape growers in Delano who refused Larry Itline was the leader of the Agricultural Workers Organization Committee. AWOC in the Atlanta. He asked the NFWA to join them in the strike. If the two unions worked together, they could make a bigger difference. At first, Cesar wasn't sure his group was ready. They had only a little over 1,000 members, but he realized that a strike was the only way to get the growers to listen. And if he did his best to spread news of the strike beyond Atlanta, he might be able to draw attention to the issues facing farm workers. So the NFWA joined the AWOC in their strike against the Delano grape growers.
What's the third word you're writing down? What's the third word you're writing down?
Issues.
Issues? Okay. All right. Good job. I'm going to stop the recording, okay?